Hey guys, welcome everybody. I really hope the sound is okay. My fan is broken, so it's quite noisy, the fan that I'm using right now, but it's freaking hot. I need a fan. So welcome to the Saskia show. Today here with an episode I've been promising you guys on Instagram for quite a while. And that is the episode on how the heck do I manage my stress? If you're following me on Instagram, you recently might have heard of this incident that I had with the Airbnb, and it was not the first super stressful incident that I had. I think the fan is really too loud. Let me pull it down for a second. So we suffer today. I'm not gonna suffer in silence, that's for sure, but I'm gonna suffer in the heat. So the thing is, what I wanted to share with you, if you've been following me, you heard recently something horrendous happened at the Airbnb. And the thing is, it's not the first thing that happened. And this is now not a show about like what a shit show it can be to actually work with Airbnb, flip a house, work in hospitality or real estate or whatsoever. Construction is like next level. But the thing is, like, I manage a lot of projects simply because I lack singularity of focus. I am a hyper creative person. That is an amazing opportunity. I'm jumping straight in. That's just my nature. And I really love it. Though I must admit, recently I've been working on scaling that a little bit down and putting more energy into single projects instead of handling so many projects at once. Well, nevertheless, so recently what happened at my Airbnb was while I'm running a video production company, while I'm running my online business with helping women how to handle a nervous system and the hormones, right? While still teaching yoga on the island because I freaking love it. And then while having dogs, while having a private life, while wanting to enjoy the island. So this thing happened at the Airbnb. Let me tell you quickly a story what actually happened. So what actually happened was I woke up in the morning, I look at my phone, and I have like 20 missed calls and 50 messages from both my neighbors, one of my tenants at the Airbnb and a neighbor of the Airbnb. So I have two Airbnbs in an area in a big garden of several houses. Now, the messages were like, babe, they're killing a woman. That's literally what my tenant was sending me. My neighbor's like, girl, they're wrecking your place. We're about to call the police. So shit really went down the drain. So that's a message. I woke up. I was like, what the heck? And then one of my tenants was even like, girl, I'm about to go in with the machete. I need to help that girl. So the evening previously, two young guys had checked in just for a couple of nights and they were nice. So, like, how the heck can I scan a person for that? I was like, oh my God, did somebody kill a woman in the house? I don't care if it's my house or not, but like, is there that woman now somewhere? Like, and we need to say, like, what the heck? I did not see that coming. So, how did I manage that day? And to my freaking surprise, stayed calm and had zero signs of stress in my body. That's the story today. I will give you another episode on all my tools for managing stress and how I'm setting myself overall up for low stress life. But it's like, really, what do I do in such an acute situation? Another acute situation that you can really easily manage with the hacks I'm sharing with you today is, for example, recently I had a massive deadline. I had another project I was working on that demanded quite a lot from me, like 4 or 5 hours a day. Suddenly I had a massive deadline come up, plus a person in that deadline involved jumped off the boat, and all responsibility was on me because at the end I was the decision taker. I was the responsible. So I'm like, whoa. And this was 3 days before my period arrived. So I'm like, my brain is dead. I'm walking around like a half zombie. All I want is like really chill out, nurture myself, eat chocolate, snuggle with my dogs, and like have a good time, right? But now I literally have to work 14, 15 hours and get that stuff done because this is urgent and this is important. My reputation is on call. The same thing. What do I do in situations like that when this is happening? Yeah. So, what exactly did I do on that day with the Airbnb? So, first of all, of course, I woke up. I sleep like, yeah, I was still in my bed. I instantly called somebody to find out, is there a woman involved? Has there what's going on with this woman? So I did that call. There was nothing confirmed, and was confirmed like, okay, no, there were just the two of them. One was screaming like a woman, but it was the two guests. doing crazy wild stuff to each other. So I'm like, okay, good. At least there's no other third victim involved. That I took care. Okay. So, and then after that, what did I do to manage the stress? Obviously, in that moment, when you think you have a dead woman in your house, like your cortisol levels spike. And if you don't feel stressed in that moment, I'm sorry, but you should check into that. That might be severe numbness in your body. So, yes, I was freaking stressed in that moment. So, the next step I did, I was like, okay, I need to take care of that situation. There might be two really dangerous men still in the house that might have wrecked everything, that might be like really rude and aggressive, and I need to get them out of the house. What did they all break? Do you need to call the police? What am I dealing with? So once the woman was safe, or there was no woman, I'm like, okay, now first things first. I need to get out of fight or flight, because I cannot fight these two guys. I cannot. I need to come back to my power. I need to come back to calmness. And overall, especially, I need to see, because what happens when you're in this fight or flight, you zone in onto the problem, right? Everything else disappears. You have this incredibly narrow focus. I was like, no, no, no. I first need to come back into a broad, wide perspective and see that this is just a tiny, tiny event on my lifeline, a teeny tiny event, and it does not deserve to impact me on a negative way. Whatever damage is done is done. Whatever steps will be necessary will be necessary. But it is not worth to keep rising my cortisol levels, because cortisol levels, I know, are really damaging for your health. They fuck up your mental health. They lead to inflammation. They can throw off your reproductive health. They will throw off the hormones for several days, and it will leave a trace of trauma in my body that I actively have to work on. So like, the trade-off is not worth it. It's just two idiots. So that was the first thing, realizing, okay, the immediate big threat is over. Time to zoom back. And I do that by telling my brain to, like, it is over. Obviously, this awareness I trained over several years. I will give you another episode on how you can train yourself to have that awareness in such moments. But that's the most important step of, like, okay, the threat per se is over. Now I just need to do the cleaning up. Yeah. I need to come back into my power and relax. And cleaning up is not worth my body and mind to go off. That is the very, very first step. Next thing I did was like, okay, how can I regulate? I do have a lot of stress in my system right now. How can I get out of the fight and flight and then start dealing with the situation? And I do know my resource kit. There's different things you can do to regulate, right? You can regulate with your pet, because they're usually very regulated. You can regulate with other humans. You can regulate through eating, through regulation exercises. So for me, I chose something that makes sense for me from my kit. So next thing was like, I need good food to strengthen my body, because when I'm malnourished, if I'm now skipping food, which was my first impulse, of course, my first impulse was like, let's fucking go to the Airbnb and take care of it immediately. It doesn't matter. I don't need to eat, and I don't need anything. I don't need to brush even my teeth. Just get dressed and take care of it. But I'm like, no, I have much more value. Like, I am so much more worthy than these idiots, and it's my responsibility to take care of myself. So next thing was, okay, follow your freaking routine, girl, but extra stress sensitive. So I'm like, okay, I really make sure I get enough protein and enough fat into my diet, because this will help me keep my blood sugar stable, which is a key component for stress management. So I'm like, okay, I take care of my blood sugar levels. And then next, I need an extra regulation. I go to have breakfast with friends so I can talk with them through it. And I don't feel like I'm alone in this, because this is regulating me. So the next steps was, first of all, realize I need to regulate now. I do not want to perpetuate this dysregulation, this internal stressed feeling. And the second step was like, get out of that stress and help your body prevent further stress by regulating your blood sugar levels by eating a high protein and high fat breakfast. So I went for like 5 or 6 eggs and bacon, and a lot of butter. Plus, go to people who are now relaxed. This will calm you down. And that's a key thing I see what many people do. They do not allow them to do that. I see so many people, they do not allow themselves to regulate. They think, I'm stressed, now I can't go to my people. Or they're stressed and everybody else needs to get stressed. And that's a key thing. That's not how community works. So we are mammals, which is really beautiful. So we do co-regulate with our environment. And the key is here, allow yourself to do that. You're not a wrong person. I do not hold shame for being stressed sometimes and having some stuff going down the hill. I'm not. It's just normal. And you can like, and everybody has the right to be like, wow, I'm really stressed. Let's calm down. Can we talk through the things, you know? And healthy people do that. If your friendships do not allow that, I'm sorry. I'm not telling you to go and dump all your stress and expect them to be stressed as well. But like, hey, can we talk through that? That's no biggie, you know? So that were the next steps I did. I seeked out community. I sought out community, a relaxed community that I can rely on. Obviously, it's a long-term thing that I cultivated myself. I talked through the things, I allowed myself to calm down, and I nourished my body deeply. I instantly went for really, really good food. And the next thing, I did skip coffee and I had a matcha instead, because when I'm really stressed, or when there might a lot of stress be happening in that day, coffee will not help me. So I skip that, because coffee does increase the stress levels in your body. And honestly, that's the core essence of what I did. And I did jump. So before I went to the coffee shop, after I decided I need to regulate myself, I need to get out of the fight or flight, I need to come back into my power, I stood up and I was shaking and jumping, and just shaking and jumping for 3 minutes. And then I grabbed my dog and I walked to the coffee shop because it's close by. If there wouldn't be a coffee shop close by, I would have still walked my dogs, because they obviously, if there would have been any risk for any woman to be highly in danger, I would never do that. I would instantly jump and drive there and call the police, obviously. It was like, okay, there's no threat, probably just material damage, physical damage, and they to each other, which honestly I don't care, because they did this to each other. So these were the main steps that I took. I decided I'm more worthy and my mental health is more important. I stood up and I was jumping and shaking. I walked through nature because this is really calming me down. I'm citing mantras while I walk. I cite the Om Mani Padme Hum. This really helps me calm down. I actively look at the green around me. I look at the sky. I look at the nature around me. And I sought out a strong, high protein breakfast with a lot of fat and a community to co-regulate. And then once I felt calm, that means once I sensed in my body, I'm not like, "Ugh, no more," but I can breathe long and deep. My shoulders are relaxed, my jaw is relaxed, my breath is relaxed again. Then I went in and communicated everything just to Airbnb and operated on a calm level. And that's how I followed the day. Easy, honestly, like that's as simple as I do it. And that's the same way how I actually manage any stress situation. So any stress situation I manage by waiting until I calm down and actively doing something to calm down, to then proceed further with that, no matter how much I have on my plate. I know that when I'm really stressed, it does not serve me. And that's I think the thing that took me the longest in all these years in working with a lot of things, it being in between exposed to high stress environments, etc. What was really the key point to shifting that was allowing myself to be more worthy than the stress, allowing myself to be more worthy than the stress, and considering myself as more capable. Because the thing is, when you're really, really stressed, you're not in a driver's seat. You're not. Your fight and flight, your survival instinct, your reptilian brain is in the driver's seat. Whereas when you're relaxed and nourished and calm, your higher thinking, your frontal cortex basically is in the driver's seat. And that's what we identify I with usually. And so over the years, it was actually learning to manage stressful situation, was recreating that bond and the trust with myself of like, hey, I am actually more capable. I got this. I can do it. I do not need my survival instincts. My higher thinking is enough and perfectly capable to solve that situation. And this honestly was the biggest game changer for me, because this is then when stress or anxiety come and take over, they are so convincing that the anxiety will bring the solution to the anxiety, and that the stress will bring the solution to the stress, that you need to feel like this in order to solve it. But truth is, you will not kill a fire with fire. You will never remove a flood with water. The same, anxiety won't solve your anxiety, stress won't solve your stress. The only way to solve and handle stress is to calm down. And there's many resources. I choose healthy food, not because food de-stresses me. No, that doesn't work. Stress eating does not work. I choose the food once I'm regulated with my friends and seeing my friends, because I know not having food will make me stressed, and having enough protein and fat in my system will keep my blood sugar stable, which supports me against stress. Yeah. But there's different tools, as I mentioned: walking, going into nature, take your paths, hanging out with friends, shaking and jumping. You can do long, deep belly breathing as well, but when you're very, very stressed, long, deep belly breathing won't do so much. I suggest walking and long, deep breathing, and really allowing yourself, like, wait, what would calm self do right now? And really hit the brake. Because when you're stressed, you're just running super, super fast. And so we gotta first hit the brake and want to calm down. And that at the end will lead to you calming down. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about long term stress prevention, because we have a lot of stress in our body if we didn't do somatically work on our trauma. We have a lot of cortisol stuck in the body if we didn't work on that. So there is still it's not, mindset alone is not the only solution. That needs some other things as well to happen to prevent long-term stress. Yet in a very stressful situation, be like, wait, this is not the smartest way. This is the key point to flip the switch in an instant. And that's actually what we have to train ourselves for. Further, how did I cultivate that trust to myself, that I know that I'm more capable than my survival instinct? How did I gain and build that trust with myself? That is very interesting. And I did that by accepting that you always get what you need, and you always get what you're perfectly capable for. Like, I first cultivated the trust into the universe before I had the trust into myself. And I started cultivating the trust into the universe that everything goes according to plan. This universe is so incredibly intelligent. Just that this beautiful planet is working out in a way it's working out proves me that the universe is really smart. And I do not believe that anything happens against plan. And so I realized that whatever happens to me is actually happening for me, because nature is thriving of evolution. Like, nature has the goal to evolve. And so nothing would happen to me, because this would mean I would devolve, unevolve, revolve. I would go backwards, right? If it would happen to me, like me as a victim. But it is not. I'm an inherent part of nature, and nature strives to evolve. And so whatever happens in my life is actually happening for me to evolve, to serve my evolution. And so that means that whatever happens to me, I'm actually capable of, because my nature does not go backwards. It does never go backwards. So why should it go backwards with me, right? And so everything that happens for me to move forward, to progress in life. So I had that trust first. And once I had that trust, I realized everything is happening for me. And then I realized everything is happening for me, and I just need everything that is happening around me in order to progress. And so when something like this happens, I'm not, oh, why is this happening to me? Oh, this is ruining my day. No, I'm just like, I've been out in the ocean waiting for the wave to surf. Here it is. Get up and surf. Enjoy the ride. And that's simply it. And once I changed that narrative, And that allowed me to de-stress because I did not swim out into the ocean and sit in the bare sun and wait for the wave to arrive to then be on the wave like, I'm freaking out. But like, let's freaking go. Right. And so I take away the judgment from the things that, it's happening to me. I change it to it's happening for me. And I better freaking enjoy the ride because the universe is moving me forward. And it's anyway moving you forward if you enjoy it or not. So you better lean back and enjoy the show. And these combination of thinking allowed me to be able to flip the switch in a highly stressful situation to then be able to resource myself. So to summarize it, to handle extremely stressful situations is like two components. One component is the inner permission to flip the switch through and trust into the universe and entrust into myself and knowing it will happen anyway if I enjoy it or not. And then second, to start resourcing myself once I flip the switch into releasing, relaxing situations to regulate myself. And I know these, and that's the thing, so these things work acutely if you work on a long term with that. Like, of course, when you're super stressed and you never regulated yourself and you never knew how to calm down from stress, you won't know it in a stress situation. So the key is to, like, in a not so stressed situation, start cultivating these practices, start cultivating this awareness. How does my body feel when she's stressed? How does she feel when she's relaxed? What activities have which impact on me? You observe that in your non or low stress environments. And then you instantly know what is good and what is bad for you in a high stress environment. Okay. So knowing how my body feels when it's stressed, knowing how she feels when she's not stressed is a key part of that. Yeah. Now, my favorite techniques, I'm just giving them you quickly onto the way. I said I will make another video about like how to, like, my whole plethora of stress management techniques. And believe me, like, sometimes, yes, I'm still stressed, but this stuff really, really works, at least for me. Like, I come from hyper with 26. I was freaking burned out and I had to take psychopharmaca to actually make it. And so I was hyper burned out. I was hyper stressed. I was a queen of working day and night. I lived on this beautiful island, never went to the beach because I have so much stuff to do. I was always stressed, barking at people, going crazy, biting my nails, being hyper anxious, etc. Yes, still sometimes I have that in certain situations, especially if I don't listen to my intuition. Yet these tools work because I moved from there and having a mental breakdown every single day to now actually feeling really safe inside myself, being able and capable to handle many projects. I do want to cut down on projects because I'm not happy I'm having so many projects. Honestly, that's still left over from that. But I am handling them really calm. My mental health is not suffering under that. Not depressed or whatever. I am sometimes a little bit anxious, but I know how to bounce back from that. And so these things really work. Like, I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day at least. I was stress eating a pizza every single day. My face was super puffy because from all the stress in my life, from all the cortisol in my body. And together with healing my trauma and the stress, aka, when I say trauma, it means the stress in your body. I was also able to heal the stress in my life and how I immediately respond to stress, all with these amazing techniques. But we'll make you another video about that. Now I just give you a handful of techniques onto the way, okay? So my currently favorite tools for intense stress management is definitely a healthy breakfast full of protein and fats. No coffee before breakfast, only after breakfast. And if I feel a little bit stressed already, no coffee at all. I really love to spend my mornings with my friends at the coffee shop having breakfast together, or with your family. If I had a family, I'd be sitting and having breakfast with my family, a slow, sweet morning, right? So I have a slow morning with community. I prioritize community and having relaxing conversations above achievements and accomplishments in my life. I spend the morning also with my dogs in nature. I do not have any screen time until after my breakfast. That's a very important part. And then also some of my favorite stress release exercise techniques is in the evening, I'm doing progressive muscle relaxation or yoga nidra before I go to bed. I love to give my body a gentle, soft eye massage in the afternoon if my body feels stressed. And the next thing is that I do avoid high intensity workout simply because they stress me out. Yeah. I do ice bath. Me, it really helps. There's a few people that say like, it's not good when you're anyway stressed. For me, it really helps, but also because ice bath under the condition that you're not in there holding it until the time is over. No, you give yourself that time to relax. And then you lose it to relax. And if you can't relax, you shouldn't do it. And then as well, what's really one of my favorite stress management techniques is just like I have freaking strong boundaries. Like, I don't do stuff I don't feel like doing. Like, yes, I push myself sometimes, but overall, I have healthy, strong boundaries. And if I know it's going to be too much, I say no and I change trajectory, etc. So these are my favorite techniques. There's a handful of breathing techniques that also got me a long way, which is alternate nostril breathing and the box breathing, and that got me a far way. And all these terms I'm giving to you, you can Google them. You'll find a lot of resources. Yeah, I also have a lot of resources for you for free or for purchase in my different memberships, in my different online programs. You can check the links below. So these are my favorite techniques. So, or like stress management tools. No screen time until after breakfast. Nature in the morning with my dogs. I would also do that by myself and alone, go out, walk, stretch, sunshine, feet in the ground, etc. Yeah. Healthy home, healthy protein, fat breakfast, hanging out with the people, prioritizing community over achievements. Yeah. Then yoga nidra or progressive muscle relaxation before I go to bed. No high intensity workout, no coffee when I feel stressed already. And different breathing techniques that I'm now only using on an acute way because it didn't over a prolonged time to build up that certain level of stress resilience in my body, which is alternate nostril breathing and the box breathing. That's it already for you guys today. It's my first time I did an YouTube live podcast episode, so I'm excited how that turns out for you guys. A short episode for now. There is more coming. Let me know in the comments what you want to hear more from me. Please give me feedback on how this live worked out for you. And if you have any questions, as always, I'm here for you.